Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Scrollies, and I'm your host, Zimris.
I am your co-host, Samsonite D.
Hey guys.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Scrollies podcast, totally our podcast. Me and Zimris made it. We are incredible at this. We've been doing podcasts for 2 years. The idea came from our friend, Team Rat NATO, who said I had a great speaking voice for podcasts. And he said that me and Zimmer should do a podcast, and here we are, guys. How you feeling today?
I feel like we've had some good, back and forth between me and you. We have some insightful commentary.
Yeah, I feel like not only have I learned a little bit about myself, but I've learned a little bit about you, my friend Zimris, over the last 2 years. And I feel much closer to you than ever before.
Mm-hmm. Today, I was thinking that we could take things back a little bit. Imagine yourself, as some people will say, a retro console, but I dare say it is a retro console, unfortunately. Take yourself back to the year of 2000. CRTs reign supreme still. This is the last generation of standard definition gaming as we know it. What's the first thing you think of?
I don't know. What could you be talking about? You're not talking about the Nintendo 64, are you?
Oh, no. No, sir.
You're not talking about the Sega Dreamcast, are you?
Nope.
Then, oh my God. You're talking about... Please say it ain't so. What are you talking about?
Of course, Sam. The Sony PlayStation 2. The best console of all time. The greatest selling game console that's ever been created.
Yes, the PlayStation 2 is the topic of our discussion today. The PlayStation 2 has sold 155 million consoles worldwide. More than the Switch. More than the PlayStation 4. My favorite console. Is it your favorite console, Zimris?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah.
Year 2000. That was a crazy time for gaming. The transitional period from 2D to 3D is that same time period. And Sony, of course, being a newcomer to gaming, it was, they were still kind of unproven. I mean, they had their first success with the first PlayStation, but everybody was like, oh, there's no way they could keep beating Nintendo, right? There's no way they could stand up to big Nintendo, right?
Yeah, no, they definitely had some big shoes to fill with the PlayStation, and they knocked that out of the park, I would say. I didn't have a PlayStation 1 growing up. I had a PlayStation 2. That was my first Sony console. What was your first console with Sony? Was it the PlayStation 2 or the PlayStation 1, Zim?
It was, in fact, the Sony PlayStation 2. I remember it quite well. It was the year 2004. I was in the 5th grade. I had been promised the previous year that if I made all A's, I could, in fact, get a PS2. I've been asking for it all year, and I delivered on the grades. Can't say the same thing about the next year, though. So I guess I gamed a little too hard.
Yeah, you flunked it all out, but it was worth it for the PlayStation 2. I mean, we did a lot of crazy things for systems back then. Here's the thing. This might tell you about my PlayStation 2 childhood and how it defined me as a gamer today. Christmas tree, 2001. Under the Christmas tree was 3 things. A PlayStation 2, a copy of Simpsons Road Rage, and Grand Theft Auto 3, all under my Christmas tree. Now, Grand Theft Auto 3 was not meant for me. It was meant for my father. But you know what happened next. It was all mine. I played it all day and all night. It was a great console. And yes, that was my first PlayStation system. So yes, I share a lot of the same memories that you share. Some good memories, good times to be had.
Yeah, I feel like that was the golden era of gaming, and Zoomers these days just they missed out. They really missed out on that time period. Because you have to remember, Sam, this was the first time where a console was backwards compatible, like from day one. I mean, it was perfect backwards compatibility. Of course, there was some people tell me the Atari 7800. I'm talking about for us,
We're not talking about Zoomers. We're not talking about anything but the love of a millennial and his PlayStation.
Yeah, it's a lot of games. I mean, 4,000 titles for North America? 3,000?
Over 4,000. Over 4,000. How many did you have? How many did you have? I mean, I'm looking at my shelf and it's only got like 30 or 40.
I'd say I cleaned out a place I used to live at not too long ago, and I just kept finding them, man. It's like you just keep digging, and there's another PS2 game, another one, and another one. Like, they're just everywhere.
Here's a classic. Here's a classic. Here's a classic.
I know, and the controller was just so perfect. Those 2 analog sticks placed in the perfect way, the D-pad. I mean, the pressure-sensitive buttons sucked ass. Not everything could be perfect, right?
Well, it must have been near perfect because they recreated that controller like 3 times right after, and I still think the PlayStation 2 controller is the best controller. That being said, let's talk about some of our favorite PlayStation 2 games. You and I have come up with a list of 4 or 5 different games.
Yes.
We're going to talk about 2 of our favorites and 1 that we share together.
Of course.
I think I'll let you start off with your first favorite PlayStation 2 game. What you got?
Oh boy. Okay, I'm going to talk about one of my favorite PS2 games. A game that I can play over and over and never get tired of. Prince of Persia: Sands of Time. One of the best platformers that I've ever enjoyed.
Prince of Persia, isn't that a movie with Jake Gyllenhaal?
No, I mean, I think Dee Dee would be pleased to hear about Jake Gyllenhaal, but no, that's not the Prince of Persia I'm talking about. And no, I'm not talking about Sam either. He's not, in fact, the Prince of Persia.
No, I'm not the prince. That's my father.
We had to get your Persian heritage in here somehow, you know?
Yeah. So you love Prince of Persia. That Sands of Time has got like a 94 on Metacritic. That is one of the classic, pristine PlayStation 2 titles.
And you bended after 2 hours when you streamed it one time.
Okay, I was in a bad place. I mean, hey, listen, I want to hear your thoughts on this game because, like, I want you to kind of sell me on this because I know how beautiful the game is. I know the graphics are beautiful. I know that it was revolutionary. But what did you like about Prince of Persia growing up with it?
I just felt like that was a time period when Ubisoft had a soul. They were trying to make some of these very innovative games that no one else was doing at the time. I mean, it was a French company, right? You know, we love French, right? Yeah?
We love French.
We
Yes.
love French. Slate, he's a wonderful member of our community.
Yeah, shout out Slate. Been there since day one. Shout out Slate.
But yes, it was a great game. I mean, the rewind mechanic was so cool and innovative. I just never had seen that before in a game. Constantly on repeat. Breaking the fourth wall, telling the story. You know, if you died, the prince interrupted you and it's like, no. That's not in fact how it goes, you know? It's that kind of stuff. It just sticks with it, you know? And a lot of people do not realize that Prince of Persia actually inspired a lot of other famous game series.
Do tell.
So, like, you know, here recently, people have been thinking about Tomb Raider, right? Well, it actually inspired the gameplay of Tomb Raider because their first Prince of Persia was all the way back in the late 80s before Ubisoft acquired it.
So you're saying that DD Bash should really have a shrine dedicated to Prince of Persia?
Yes. I should do a Prince of Persia anthology series. I really should. It deserves its recognition.
Well, honestly, you definitely brought up some good points about it, and I do regret throwing it out. Now that you mention it, I threw it out. And not only did I throw it out, just to put me on the wall of shame even bigger, Zimmerus gifted me a copy of Prince of Persia HD, which contains all 3 games on PS3. And I played it a total of 1 time.
Yes, I actually used Amazon. Yeah,
You actually used Amazon.
Yes, physically it arrived. But also another thing, it also inspired. It's also that the sequel originally for Prince of Persia: Sands of Time was Assassin's Creed. Did you know that?
No, what?
Yes.
No, seriously, what?
Yes.
I'm just shocked right now. I'm speechless. I guess it's hard to be speechless on a podcast, but you got me there.
Yes, it was in fact responsible for Assassin's Creed. And then, of course, you know, history, and it's just, it was a cinematic experience.
It's a beautiful title. So not only is it a personal favorite of yours, but it's a classic in its own right. Wow, okay. Thank you for telling me about Prince of Persia.
So what is your game, Sam?
My first game deserves no introduction, but it's going to get one anyways. All right, guys. What do you get when you make a wish for the best Dragon Ball Z fighter? You take all 7 Dragon Balls and you ask for a fan favorite Dragon Ball Z simulation experience. What is your wish, Zimmerus? What game comes to your mind for the perfect Dragon Ball Z game?
Dragon Ball Bout GT?
Oh, you would. Ew. God damn. So, for those people that don't know, that's the worst Dragon Ball game other than Ultimate Battle 22. No, we're not talking about Ultimate Battle 22. We're not talking about Final Bout. We're not talking about Dragon Ball Z Sagas on PS2. We're talking about the one and only Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 3.
Oh,
a
wow.
classic. classic game with over 100 characters, including transformations.
I mean, to be fair, like 12 of those characters are Goku, you know? Like, holy shit.
Yeah, 12 of those characters are Goku. 12 of those characters. You got Goku early, Goku mid, Goku late. As the kids would say, Goku mid is mid. But Goku mid, you know, we had a ton of characters. There's a ton of fighting games out there. You know, they had Street Fighter, they had Tekken, they had Soul Calibur, which almost made the cut. The reason I picked this game in my top 3 PlayStation 2 games is because it's the most fun fighter for me. Just the game I think about for games that I want to have fun with and experience, and it just feels like like you're playing an episode of Dragon Ball Z. It's like, not only that, but you can have these what if scenarios, like what if Master Roshi fought the final villain of Dragon Ball GT? It doesn't make any sense. What if Hercule fought Frieza, gave him a present and blew him up? Like, it's all these what if scenarios and these little details that they put into games like this that just, they don't have that in Dragon Ball games anymore.
It doesn't have that feeling of, you know, like fan service. You know what I mean? It's like not for the fans. It's just to make money, right?
No, it was great. It was just a fun game that makes you feel like you were recreating an episode of Dragon Ball. What can you ask for more than that? I guess my question to you is, did you play this game growing up?
Yes. In fact, I ruined quite a few analog sticks with the beam struggles, actually.
My God, yes. I don't know if anybody listening knows, but you can go through PlayStation 2 controller in about a few playthroughs just by rotating the sticks hard enough. It's similar to Mario Party when you have your finger on that one game. You know what I'm talking about, the game in Mario Party that requires you to rotate.
Yeah, very, very vigorously. Yeah.
Yes, it's just like that. So basically when two Kamehamehas or two beams meet, it's up to user A versus user B to rotate the two Joy-Cons aggressively. Yeah, I don't know. I don't see them bringing back that feature in Budokai Tenkaichi 4 coming out next year.
You really don't?
No. Okay, here's what's going to happen. If that's a feature, I'm going to just let everybody win, because I would rather lose at a game than let my controller break. I'm not buying another dual whatever.
You know, now that I think about it, was stick drift even a thing back then? Like, do you even recall that ever happening to controllers? Because I don't.
This is my tinfoil hat. I think stick drift was just created recently.
Really?
I don't remember it being around. I'm putting on my tinfoil hat right now. I don't remember it. My PlayStation 2 controller is my original PlayStation 2 controller.
I mean, Sam, you know I love a good conspiracy, but there's just no way. I just don't see Nintendo doing that to us, you know?
I know.
Now, Jeff Bezos, I could see it, but not Nintendo.
Not Nintendo, but this isn't a Nintendo episode. This is a PlayStation 2 episode. And with that, I want you to tell me your next favorite game, because I am so curious.
Okay, when I ask you on the PS2, you're thinking to yourself, man, what caused the PS2 to sell so well? What was the first thing that came to your mind?
Dead or Alive Extreme Beach Volleyball?
Sam, that was on Xbox. Come on, bro.
Oh, I guess it was Anywhere in My Dreams. Sorry. Go on. What was it?
But people are always like, "Oh, it was the cheap DVD player, right? It was about watching movies."
Yes.
I mean, it's got DVD processing, you know, unlike the GameCube. Because, you know, the GameCube was graphically superior to the PS2, but it had DVDs.
And the GameCube didn't have the PS2's emotion engine.
Yes.
Go on.
Backwards compatibility, yeah.
Go on.
You know, because Nintendo made that awkward transition, yeah.
Awkward, yes, awkward. It was their teen years, okay. Go on.
But you're thinking of DVDs and you think of movies, right? That's the first thing. What game makes you think this is a movie?
Wow. You got me there. It's Metal Gear Solid
2.
2. So 2 edges out 3 for you.
Yes. Sons of Liberty, yes.
So you're saying it's called Metal Gear Solid 2, Sons of Liberty.
Mm-hmm.
So what did you like about that game? Because that is a game that I could share with you. Like, that's a game that I liked as well.
I just felt like Kojima, you know, God, oh my gosh, where do I start on this guy? He's an artist, perhaps one of the best writers of our era, I would say. He hits such heavy subjects in that game. It's stuff that nobody saw, you know, like 20 years before it happened. That's Kojima. I mean, AI, censorship, security data. I mean, like, all kinds of.
You
crazy
think
stuff.
Simpsons predicted the future? Really, Kojima predicts the future just as much as the Simpsons.
Yes, it's like our substance for gamers. It's like memes. I mean, he proved meme theory. I mean, that memes are important because it's just a collection of garbage information.
So how old were you when you first played Metal Gear Solid 2?
I was probably 16 at the time, and that game, it stuck with me. It disturbed me as a teenager. I thought to myself, wow, this game has really struck me as disturbing more than anything else, and entertaining. You know, I'm sitting there watching these 3-hour cutscenes like I'm about to piss on myself, just hoping to God, like, you know, like, oh, I want to play the game again, and then you feel so uneasy sneaking around the entire time. You feel like you're gonna get caught. I mean, it's like that feeling you sneaking home as a teenager and you think at 2 a.m. and it's like, oh, I'm gonna get caught. But yeah, it was the whole game. And
were you trying to sneak around, but you were dummy thick?
Yeah, yes, the ass clap was just too massive. But and also, I'm sorry, I made you pay for lunch the other day. I'm really sorry about that.
You know, there is something I've been meaning to tell you.
Really?
On Saturday morning, I saw a guy leaving Squat Cobbler's room. How should I put it? It was like they were recording podcasts. I'm sorry to bring this up during the mission, but...
Oh, no. Say it as it's so.
And it's okay. I'll pay. You can pay for lunch whenever you want. I'm okay with that. Okay, so you played Metal Gear Solid 2 at 16 years old. I played Metal Gear Solid 2, and Mark, to this day, the Metal Gear Solid 2, as of the day of this recording, is the only Metal Gear Solid game I beat. And I beat it when I was 10 years old.
Wow.
I was staying over. Yeah, it is. I was staying over at my cousin's house. And I stayed up all night playing it. It was probably knee deep into the save file, so I guess you can say that I barely beat it. But I got to the point where it was like midnight or 1, and I was 10 or 11. I might have been 12, but point aside, I was scared. I had never felt a video game fear like this until this moment at 12 or 10 or 11, however old I was, when Colonel says, Raiden, turn off the game. You know the rest because it's your favorite. It's your top 3 favorite. You know the rest, so you know the feeling of dread. Like, I'm sitting here thinking to myself, is this real? Am I going crazy?
Am I hallucinating?
Am I hallucinating? This is the middle of the night. My cousin's sleeping on the bed behind me. I can't wake him up. That'd be weird. And here it is. It's pitch black, and you just hear this. And then he goes on. He goes crazy, saying all this weird stuff, and referencing other games. And I didn't know what he was talking about. But yes, my experience was a 10-year-old, 11-year-old, 12-year-old boy sitting in a dark room at midnight, beating this game, running around naked as Raiden while Colonel berates you. So
yeah, and what was that about the whole Raiden thing? Like, I mean, changing out the main character in the sequel. Like, what the hell was Kojima thinking? Like, what the fuck is wrong with him? Yeah.
Hey, Kojima was doing some revolutionary things that few other. I mean, he's basically a filmmaker. Like you said, he's a filmmaker.
Yeah.
Yes. It's a cinematic masterpiece.
I just feel like at that time, it felt like corporations. Like, I know I don't want to get political here in gaming. I know, like, we go to gaming to escape it, but unfortunately, it's like these corporations at that point in time finally got control of gaming, and ever since then, experimental mainstream has not been a thing. Experimental games haven't since then.
Yeah, it's definitely has a unique mark on the industry for sure. I'm going to move on to my next game. You said yours. Mine is, I think, similar in terms of cinematic quality, because Rockstar has this beautiful way of writing a story, and Rockstar was really inspired by movies when they made these. With GTA 3, mob movies, GTA 3 was inspired by crime movies. Vice City was also, and San Andreas in its own way was also inspired by movies. Many movies, in fact. So it's no secret that I'm a big fan of Rockstar in general, and my next game is Grand Theft Auto San Andreas.
Oh wow, that is a great game.
That is. And honestly, I don't know. It's something about, it's not just the open world of San Andreas, but it's like the little things that they do. The details are immaculate. The music, the atmosphere, it makes you feel not only like you're watching a movie, but you are playing this story and you are embodying the character. And the thing I love, and you know, shout out to GTA 3 and Vice City and San Andreas, but one of my favorite things is where it's like you start at the bottom and you climb your way to the top. In the third game, you are a low-level hitman or a low-level mafia or a low-level whatever, and you rank your way all the way to the top. The same thing happens in Vice City, and then the same thing happens in San Andreas, but a little more complex.
Yeah, you start really skinny and you get really fat. That's the...
Just like in real life.
Yeah, that's starting at the bottom and going the way up, right?
Yes. Did you play San Andreas growing up?
No, you know, it was a kind of a strict household in that sense of content being monitored because, you know, GTA San Andreas, I mean, God, GTA printed on the front, it's enough to send any like middle-aged housewife screaming in terror. I mean, oh my God, turn that off! Oh, not in this household. You know, like, holy shit. Like, no, I didn't experience it until like 18, 19 maybe, around that time period. But yeah, of course, that was a notorious game series. Man, everybody knew what GTA was, you know, listening to the news and everything. It's hard to avoid it.
Absolutely. I would be remiss to say this, but if I left it out, but GTA San Andreas is the game on PS2 that has sold the most copies of any game.
Oh,
Pretty
wow.
impressive. Really, really impressive. And it just shows, you know, how good of a game it was. It was critics' darling, fan favorite, still my favorite GTA to this day. The less said, the better. It is a legendary game. I'll talk about it more, maybe in a future Scrollies. But to that being said, yeah, let's share our final game.
Oh yes, this game takes us back, Sam, because me and you agreed on this before we started recording this episode.
Yep, we sure
I
did.
mean, this choice is obvious. Anyone that's been in our community, you know, for a while, I mean, has to know this game. I mean, it's literally the reason we know each other.
Yeah, we met through this game on my stream when we were, it was about 7 or 8 years ago, 9 years ago. It was a long time ago.
9 years ago, yes.
Yeah, and the game is
Final Fantasy X.
Final Fantasy X. Well, I think, am I wrong to say this is your favorite Final Fantasy?
Without a doubt. I mean, it was my first Final Fantasy game. So, I mean, like, of course, you know, bias. And I'll never forget buying this game. Or actually, I did not buy this game for myself. This was a gift from my grandmother not too long before she passed away, actually. It was for my birthday. And that puts another extra special meaning onto it. You know, when I play that game, I kind of think about her, sort of. You know what I mean? I'm like, man, wow, I had this great experience. You know, one positive thing to take out of it.
I totally get you. I have that same thing with Mario 3 on NES. To this day. That's an actual thing, yeah. So I totally get it. And I mean, even still, like, yeah, the game is just classic. It's the first one with voice acting. The music is the reason I started playing piano. There's a lot of emotional things for me as well with it. Just To Xanarkin is just the most touching piano song I've ever heard to this day. The graphics were incredible. The only thing I won't stand for is Blitzball, and we can fight over this, but Blitzball is terrible.
No, you're wrong. That's what
Terrible.
you're fucking wrong.
Wow.
You asshole. No, listen.
You know how many sensors I had to put in then? I edit this thing day in and day night, and you just made me put more sensors in this.
I'm sorry, Sam. You've seen my streams. You know how it is.
I've seen your streams. The thing is, you're passionate about Blitzball. You love it. I hate it. So, I mean, perfect storm for us both right there. But we won't disagree that we both love this game. Final Fantasy X, 10 out of 10. And
it's the last good Final Fantasy game. Let's face it.
Arguably, you could argue that for sure. That could be a great argument. Some people say no. Allegedly.
I just feel like it was the beginning of modern Final Fantasy as we know it.
And that's good. No.
That's why I don't like it. Afterwards, I guess. I don't know. Maybe it's turn-based.
You don't like it. Plot twist?
I think it's turn-based being abandoned. You know what I'm saying? For real time and stuff.
I know. No. I agree with you. I kind of wish that they would just go back and have kind of the courage to just do one more turn-based. Like let's say Final Fantasy 17 came out and it was just straight up turn-based. I would be like, okay, look at you, look what you're doing. But anyways, we both love this game. I mean, what else is there to say?
I mean,
that's our number one game.
It was the first game I watched on Twitch. It was the reason I made an account. Like, wow, Final Fantasy X is getting a remaster for the PlayStation 3. This is what 2014 maybe, I think, right?
March 2014 or April, one of those two, yeah.
Yeah, it was late March, and I just had started nursing school at the time, and I was like, man, this really sucks. I need to do something fun, and then I get on there and I'm like, Twitch, what is this? Like, video games? People actually watch people play video games? What the fuck is this? Like people do this for entertainment? But no, I get on there and I'm like, hey, I sign up for an account, make an account, what should I name myself? Zimmerus, obviously, right? That's what I named myself when you first saw me in your chat, right?
No, it was not Zimmerus. It was Twitchy Eyes 22. Shout out Twitchy Eyes 22. Shout out you.
I wonder where he's at these days.
He's banned globally.
Oh, really? They won't let him back in SeaWorld? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. You found me through that, and then it kind of snowballed the rest of everything.
Yeah, back then you didn't even have a microphone. Why the hell did I stick around?
I don't know.
You didn't have a mic.
No microphone. No
viewers. No mic, no camera.
Nope. It was you and then Ule. Shout out Ule.
Shout out Ule. And also, when you first turned on the mic, I was like, oh wow. His voice, he's like, by the way, guys, he's like, by the way, I got an AT2020 mic in the closet. I'm like, what? A fucking Audio Technica? You're holding this out on us?
I was just testing the waters. I was doing voiceover stuff, and those were the days when I would eat my microphone and talk super low, like, "Hey guys, welcome to the stream. How's everybody doing?" Those were different days. Those were much different days. Those were the days long before Digital Foundry love.
That's back when I was like, so I saw your profile picture. I'm like, is he Mexican? Like what's the deal? What's the deal with the sombrero?
The Photoshop sombrero that I had from my Facebook with me with the fake cigar in my mouth.
Oh gosh.
Fun fact, Ollie was -3 then.
-3.
Yeah. So -3. Yeah. It changed my life. It's one thing to say that I think Final Fantasy X changed my life in general, deciding to stream that on Twitch. So, yes. It was your first game on Twitch. It was my real first game on Twitch. That is why I think we both have the same number one answer, and that's Final Fantasy X.
I just feel like the game really touched us, like, personally with other people in our lives, like my grandmother and your community. You know what I'm saying? And it's like a game that keeps giving, and like we keep constantly going back to it. Like here recently, you got Digital Foundry from it. I mean, like it's amazing. Just all the content that's being spawned from Final Fantasy X.
I mean, we owe a lot to it. Like that's like one of the games I would actually consider streaming once a year. I feel like I owe that game so much. And some of the coolest people will come out of Final Fantasy X. You, Maintator89, shout out Maintator89. Of course, he's always getting a shout out in one of our episodes.
Oh, yeah.
So here's another shout out for him.
Zach's a great, wonderful guy.
Zach's so great.
Nice.
But yeah, no, I'm sure it touches a lot of people. I'm glad it touches you. I actually didn't know that about your grandma, so that's actually really sweet. And,
yes. I just never really shared it. I didn't think about it until when I was thinking about PS2 games. I'm like, oh wow, oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I definitely, I can see how that adds a lot more emotional value to it. Well, Zimmerus, how do you feel about that? How do you feel about that PS2 discussion?
I feel like we've pretty well covered it.
Hey, I agree. I feel like with PS2 though, like you said, over 4,000 games, biggest console of all time. Like, I feel like you could do a whole podcast dedicated to just PS2 games. Like, honestly, I feel like this is such a big topic on its own that we could go in depth with this conversation for hours and hours and hours.
You have to remember, though, I mean, this console lived for like 13 years, from
13 years,
the year 2000 to 2013. And you think how many things changed in 13 years?
A lot has changed. And can you name, fun fact, can you name the final game released on PlayStation 2?
FIFA 2014, maybe?
Dude, that was it. Insert Final Fantasy fanfare music. That was it. That was it. FIFA 2014.
What were they thinking?
I don't know. You know. So, okay, Zimris, if this is everyone's first time listening, where can people find you other than this amazing podcast?
Of course, my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Zimmer. Been moving, been getting things adjusted. Also, I've been playing Fire Emblem Engage. That's keeping me pretty busy. So I've been pretty well distracted.
You and your Fire Emblem, man. I feel there's another topic right there that you could easily get into for hours, couldn't you?
Oh, yes, indeed. Maybe another story for another time. Sam, would tell us what's been going on with you here lately?
Oh, you know, I've been playing some Mario Galaxy, been playing some old school PS2, been messing around with my Retroid Pocket 3 Plus. That has been fun. My 3DS came in and I did get it maybe hacked, maybe not. I don't want to say wink. Yes. I've been having fun with the 3DS. The 3DS is a very underrated console, I think.
It's also very easy to hack.
That too. So is the Wii U. Also, Nintendo, please don't hurt us. But listen. You can find me on twitch.tv/Samsonite_D. And other than that, that's what's been going on lately.
So, guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode on PlayStation 2 and the many classic games that you can find it on. And I hope that you can join us again really soon. And stay classy, everyone.
Bye.
Zimris, turn off the game console right now. The mission is a failure. Cut your power right now.
What did you say?
Something happened to me last night while I was driving home. I had a couple miles to go. I looked up and saw a glowing orange object in the sky. It was moving irregularly. Suddenly, there was an intense light all around, and when I came to, I was home.
Huh?
What do you think happened to me? Actually, I'm in really bad shape financially. I pay money to my ex-wife as part of our divorce settlement, among other bills. I just had no choice but to make you pay for lunch the other day. I'm really sorry, Zimris.
What's wrong with you?
I hear it's amazing when the famous purple stuffed worm in Flapjaw face with the tuning fork does a raw blink on Harikiri Rock. I need scissors. 61.
What are you talking about?
That reminds me. I saw Maintainer the other day in Chignogni. He said to give you his best.
Sam, who are you? Get real.